Now, also reports this week that the king is absolutely desperate to see his grandkids, Archie and Lilibet, which you can understand.
There's clearly trouble in paradise, and she's trying to cover it up, and she thinks that we are stupid enough to fall for that.
Meghan Markle fought for freedom.
It's been a very long time since he's seen them. What's in the works?
Harry begged for inclusion.
Prince Harry playing with their 2 children.
Their kids? Erased in silence. And the Crown did it with a pen.
Sussex's 2 children, 3-year-old Archie and 1-year-old Lilibet, will not have the His or Her Royal Highness status.
So why now? And why this brutal? The royal family has faced storms before. Divorces, scandals, abdications. But what Buckingham Palace just pulled is being described by commentators as the coldest move in modern royal history. With one quiet signature, Archie and Lilibet were wiped out of royal identity. No heirs, no titles, no future inside the Windsor dynasty.
Only way Harry could ever give his 2 children any type of royal role would be to get William on side. And William cannot stand Harry's behavior.
And unlike public spats or televised interviews, this wasn't messy. It was clean, legal, and devastating. What makes this twist so extraordinary is that, according to royal watchers, the palace waited years. They let the Oprah interview, the Netflix series, even Harry's tell-all memoir play out. They absorbed every headline. They stayed silent. And then, when the world least expected it, the monarchy struck. Not with emotion, but with protocol. Reports say this decision wasn't spontaneous. It was rooted in a framework laid down more than a century ago.
Prince William has had enough of Prince Harry's ludicrous claims that his 2 children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, are going to join the royal family as working members.
King George V's letters patent of 1917. Those papers may not sound dramatic, but insiders call them the steel bars of the monarchy. They define who can and cannot be a prince or princess, who qualifies for a title, and who the crown will recognize in law and in history. By those icy rules, 3 requirements are non-negotiable: legitimate royal lineage, official recognition at birth, and baptism into the Church of England. Miss 1, and you're cut out. Miss all 3, you're erased completely. And here's where the contradiction slams into the Markle brand. Meghan presented herself as the mother of royal heirs, photo shoots in California, polished press releases, glowing headlines. But the documents tell another story. Archie's birth certificate, altered under mysterious palace orders. Lilibet's birth, announced by Hollywood press release, not royal proclamation. Her baptism, recognized in California, but never in the Church of England. Piece by piece, the monarchy built its case. Fans online have already started connecting the dots. One viral TikTok called Archie's certificate a royal rewrite straight out of Hollywood. Memes crowned Lilibet as the California princess with no crown. And royal commentators warn this isn't just semantics. It's a permanent strike. Reports suggest that by enforcing these century-old rules now, the palace effectively turned Harry and Meghan's children into private citizens, forever cut off from dynastic privilege. So was this calculated punishment for the couple's rebellion, or simply the system protecting itself? That's the question ripping through headlines, and we're only at the beginning of this fallout.
Will strip his exiled brother Prince Harry's children of their HRH titles when he becomes king.
The palace may have been silent, but the public was anything but. Within hours of the documents surfacing, fans online claimed they had receipts proving Meghan's narrative was collapsing. Twitter lit up with side-by-side images of Archie's edited birth certificate, while Reddit threads dissected every line of the California baptism press release. One user wrote, "If the crown didn't recognize it, then in royal law, it never happened." That comment alone was shared more than 20,000 times, sparking a wave of memes that mocked the idea of California royalty. The contradiction was brutal. For years, Meghan's critics accused her of playing a Hollywood princess. Now, with legal protocols stripping away Archie and Lilibet's status, her detractors called it proof. TikTok edits paired footage of Meghan's Oprah interview with screenshots of the altered documents, captioned, "She said freedom." The Crown said protocol. Even supporters, usually quick to defend the Sussexes, admitted the silence from Buckingham Palace was unsettling. One Instagram post read, "If this isn't about revenge, why didn't they speak years ago?" That forward-driving question became the heartbeat of the online debate. And then came the media spin. Glossy magazines like People and Vanity Fair ran glowing features labeling Lilibet a princess, complete with photos of her birthday parties in Montecito. But British commentators pushed back. Reports in the Telegraph suggested palace aides saw those articles as misleading at best, false at worst. By midweek, a split had formed, American outlets painting a fairy tale, while UK insiders doubled down on the icy reality of protocol. That clash itself became part of the scandal. Fans online claimed the Sussexes were using US press to rewrite history. Industry observers quickly tied the timing to Harry and Meghan's media deals. Commentators speculated that losing royal status for their children could ripple into brand value. One analyst noted that Netflix paid millions for a series branded around their royal life. Without heirs officially in the line of succession, the Sussex narrative suddenly looked less regal and more reality TV. And as fans pointed out, reality TV doesn't have the same billion-dollar pull as royalty.
So at the time, Archie Mountbatten Windsor was born May 6, 2019. And this was surrounded by controversy, largely to the unconventional.
Harry, meanwhile, was described as devastated. According to reports picked up by the Daily Mail, he allegedly made late-night calls to palace aides, pleading that royal blood doesn't vanish just because you step back. But those claims were immediately countered by commentators who insisted the decision was never emotional. This was protocol, not punishment, one historian told Sky News. If the rules weren't enforced here, they'd never matter again. That framing left Harry looking like a son begging for exceptions, while the monarchy looked like stone. And just like that, the stakes escalated. What started as quiet legal paperwork became a global debate over legitimacy, legacy, and power. The question echoing across social media was clear. If protocol can erase Archie and Lilibet, what else can it rewrite? Behind the palace walls, whispers grew louder. Reports suggested Harry wasn't just frustrated, he was desperate. According to The Times, sources close to the Sussex circle claimed he made emotional midnight calls to senior aides, insisting that bloodlines don't vanish with geography. "My children are Windsors," one insider quoted him as saying, but those pleas, if true, ran into a brick wall. The answer, fans online speculated, was the coldest phrase imaginable. This isn't about feelings, it's about order. That single word, order, started trending, reshaped into memes showing the Windsor crest crushing Harry's phone calls. Meghan, meanwhile, doubled down on her brand. She reportedly told allies that California baptisms and press releases carried the same weight as palace ceremonies. Commentators speculated this was part of her wider push to keep the Sussex image marketable in Hollywood. But as one royal historian reminded The Guardian, the monarchy doesn't deal in branding, it deals in lineage. That soundbite went viral on TikTok, paired with clips of Meghan speaking about royal motherhood with captions like brand versus blood. The narrative was slipping out of her hands, and then came the receipts. Archival documents resurfaced showing the original 1917 letters patent, still unaltered, still binding. Analysts on Sky News walked viewers line by line through the rules: legitimate birth, official crown recognition, and baptism in the Church of England. One commentator put it bluntly, Archie and Lilibet missed all three. The law is the law. That moment cut deeper than any tabloid headline because it wasn't about rumor, it was about constitutional fact. Fans online claimed you could see Harry's heartbreak in old photos where his children were styled as Prince and Princess, titles now proven symbolic, not legal.
Princess Beatrice and Eugenie, they are not working royals, and yet they also have an HRH in front of their names. Obviously, we do have Prince Andrew, who still is not allowed to use his, much like Harry, but still technically holds an HRH status. And so really it's just a styling.
Industry insiders also raised alarms about fallout for the couple's media empire. Commentators speculated that if their children's royal identity evaporates, so too does the central pillar of the Sussex brand. Without heirs, it's just another celebrity family, one PR strategist told Variety. The idea hit home. Fans debated whether Netflix and Spotify had banked too heavily on royal exclusivity, and memes started circulating comparing the Sussexes to the Kardashians, not as royalty, but as influencers. That shift alone marked a brutal cultural downgrade. But perhaps the sharpest revelation came from those who saw this as strategy, not accident. Reports suggested Buckingham Palace intentionally delayed its enforcement of protocol to let Meghan and Harry's rebellion burn itself out. Only when their brand was fully tied to the royal heirs narrative did the crown pull the rug. One viral Reddit comment summed it up. The firm didn't fight them. It just erased their ammo. That chilling take reframed the story, from personal feud to long-game strategy, and left even supporters uneasy. And so the scandal deepened. The palace hadn't just silenced Meghan and Harry, it had rewritten their children out of history. The question now, How would Hollywood, fans, and the couple themselves respond to a strike that seemed permanent? By the fourth day, the scandal had moved beyond gossip. It was everywhere, from British tabloids to American late-night shows. Jimmy Kimmel joked that Archie was now the prince of paperwork errors, while a trending TikTok edited Meghan's Oprah interview into a mock courtroom sketch titled Protocol versus Freedom. Even supporters admitted the optics were brutal. One fan on Twitter posted, "If even paperwork erases them, how can Meghan keep selling this fairy tale?" That post racked up over 60,000 likes, cementing the narrative that this was bigger than family drama. It was institutional, and institutions began to stir. Commentators speculated that streaming executives were suddenly on edge. Netflix had reportedly built entire story arcs around royal children, complete with animated projects and brand tie-ins. Industry analysts told Variety that if those heirs are no longer recognized, future projects could face legal gray zones. One insider warned, Disney once lost millions over licensing titles. If the crown pulls recognition, deals collapse. That financial angle turned a family scandal into a Hollywood panic. The cultural consequences landed just as hard. Comparisons flew fast. Diana stripped of HRH after divorce, Edward VIII erased after abdication, even Princess Margaret's forbidden love. But commentators stressed this was different. This isn't a punishment. It's erasure, one historian explained on BBC Newsnight. The clip went viral, with fans captioning it, "Colder than exile, colder than scandal, just gone." For many viewers, that single word, erasure, crystallized the drama. Harry, caught in the middle, looked increasingly isolated. Reports suggested his private pleas had been dismissed, leaving him with no leverage. "It's like watching a son beg a father who's already made up his mind," one analyst speculated. Fans latched onto that imagery, resharing clips of Harry during Diana's funeral with captions like, "History repeats." The emotional resonance pushed the scandal from political to deeply personal. Meanwhile, Meghan faced a branding nightmare. Commentators speculated her attempts to frame California baptisms and glossy magazine spreads as legitimate looked increasingly fragile. TikTok edits paired her smiling photos with the stark black and white text of the 1917 letters patent. One viral video cut between Meghan's words, "I wanted freedom," and a historian's blunt response, "Freedom doesn't erase lineage." That juxtaposition hit millions of views, undercutting her narrative with every scroll. And the public? Savage. Memes crowned Lilibet the Princess of Malibu, Archie the Duke of Nowhere. Facebook groups debated whether Meghan's Hollywood future could survive if she wasn't seen as the mother of heirs. Reports suggested advertisers were nervous too, one marketing executive allegedly told. The Financial Times, "Royal sells. Rebellion without royalty doesn't." That line summed up the highest stakes yet: money, influence, and global image. What began as whispers of protocol had become a cultural earthquake. The monarchy's silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. And by the time they struck, it wasn't just Meghan and Harry losing, it was Hollywood scrambling, fans rioting online, and the very idea of royal rebellion collapsing. The only question left, what happens when you erase children from history? In the aftermath, the silence from Buckingham Palace spoke louder than any speech. There was no press release, no interviews, not even a carefully worded leak, just documents. And for insiders, that was the monarchy's final, devastating statement. "Once it's written, it's forever," one royal commentator told Sky News. Fans online claimed it was the crown's nuclear option. No words, just protocol. That framing stuck, echoing across social media like a drumbeat. Once erased, always erased. For Meghan, the fallout was immediate. Commentators speculated that without royal heirs, her narrative as the protective royal mother collapsed. PR experts told Variety that brand deals built around her royal status would now face a credibility crisis. Even supportive outlets struggled to spin it. People magazine ran a cover story calling Lilibet a princess. But within hours, fans posted side-by-side screenshots of the letter's patent proving otherwise. Memes mocked the headline, "Princess of Photoshop." The credibility gap widened. Harry's pain looked far more personal. Reports suggested he was shattered by the move, seeing it as a rejection not just of his children, but of himself. Analysts drew parallels to his mother, Diana, stripped of HRH after divorce. First they erased his mother, now his children, one fan wrote on Reddit, earning thousands of upvotes. That line spread across TikTok, paired with funeral footage, transforming a political act into generational tragedy. The industry ripple effects only deepened the blow. Commentators speculated that entertainment executives would quietly reconsider Sussex-related projects. Netflix, once eager to market the children as modern heirs, now faced a storytelling dilemma. Without titles, without lineage, the Sussexes were reduced to celebrity status. Valuable, yes, but not unique. One analyst warned, the Crown just devalued their brand by billions, and it didn't cost them a penny. That perspective reframed the monarchy not as passive, but as the ultimate power player in global image-making. And the cultural context? Brutal. Historians tied this moment to a century of royal survival tactics. Abdications, divorces, scandals. Each time, the crown cut ties to protect itself. But this strike felt different. It wasn't exile, it wasn't punishment, it was erasure. Rebellion can be spun as drama, one professor explained on BBC Radio. But irrelevance? That's Fatal fans seized on the phrase, plastering it across memes. Better exiled than erased. So where does this leave Meghan and Harry? Reports suggested they're cornered, stripped of titles for their children, denied exceptions, and branded as outsiders by the very system they once sought to reform. Supporters cling to their narrative of freedom, but critics argue the monarchy just proved the oldest truth of all. Protocol always wins. And here's the irony. Meghan once said titles didn't matter. Harry once said love was enough. But in the cold light of 2025, their children's erasure shows the monarchy's deadliest weapon isn't scandal or exile. It's silence. Silence backed by paper that rewrites history itself. If a century-old document can erase royal heirs in a single stroke, what happens when the crown turns its focus on Meghan and Harry themselves? Subscribe, hit like, and stay tuned, because the next chapter in this royal saga is already being written, and you'll want to be here when it breaks.